a bit of feedback. Testing 1 2 3. Testing 1 2 3. Testing 1 2 3. Okay, that sounds good. So I got a new mic a while ago, just recently, and decided, gotta like break it in and all that. I'm gonna be doing a little podcast thing with a friend of mine. We're just gonna hang out, have a bunch of fun. And for that, we grabbed each of us a new mic, and I'm just like, well, hook that up to everything I do, because obviously. So today, normally we do maps, and we might do a little map making eventually, but really I'm doing session prep because I've got a game this Saturday, and I want to get it kind of like as connected as possible in my head before I do it all. So the method that I'm going to utilize, I think I've kind of shown you guys little bits and pieces, but you're gonna watch essentially the full method happen. So first, we're going to be using tabletop audio in the background. Click that one. Tabletop audio has a bunch of just ambiances for your game. They're free. Like, I'm just like, I'm using it because it's free. It's great. It's wonderful. Go get it. I don't care who you are. Like, even if you're just planning a party and you just need some extra music in the background, like, these are just ambiance. There's like one that's an orbital prison break. I want to listen to that one later. So let's listen to it right now. Just F it. Yeah. Orbital prison break. Anyway, it's free. If you're making money off of it, that's the only time that it's not free. And even then, the owner is like, when you get enough that you're like, okay, I should really be paying out for something like this of this quality, that's when you kind of pay. And everything else, just a tribute. Just say this is all from Tabletop Audio. Show people Tabletop Audio. Let them know about it. Tabletop Audio is great. It's called Tabletop Audio. Tabletop Audio. Tabletop Audio. It's so good. It's so simple. It's so easy. Everything's just done for you, pretty much. Like, I put it on play. It's at the bottom of the queue. I just need to click there's like a repeat button. Click to not loop playlist. All right, well, we want to loop the playlist, so that'll be it. It starts with the orbital prison break, and then it'll go to the other one I wanted to listen to, which is the arcade clockwork. However, for note, just like before when we found Fragged Empire, there's something called Ironsworn Starforged. I don't know what Ironsworn Starforged is, but it's another RPG. Spaceborne heroes sworn to undertake a perilous quests. You will explore uncharted space, unravel the mysteries of galaxy, and build bonds with those you meet in your travels. Most importantly, you will swear iron vows and see them fulfilled. So this is, there's another game. This is made by the same people that made Fragged Empire, because this is the same kind of, like, website build. Or at least they got the same guy to work on the website, or they use the same, whatever. Anyway, I believe I've seen Ironsworn, the fantasy version, and in the fantasy version, you, like, make a promise, a iron vow, and then you take that, and you go and do your thing. I've actually taken the concept of the iron vow, and I use it in my game, for the dwarves in my setting. And the dwarves in my setting are, little dwarf hamsters. They're dwarf hamsters, but sized up to about dwarf height. And so I've given them the iron vow, and the iron vow, the way it works for them is they take the iron vow, and it's way different than what Ironsworn does. I think Ironsworn is amazing, and you should definitely look into it. But the way that I took it was you take the iron vow, and when a dwarf takes the iron vow, it changes something magically, mystically about their body, so that whenever they take damage, specifically damage that would kill them, the wound that did the plunging, like, death effect instantly seals with steel and iron, as the dwarf kind of like reforges their body to be able to get their vow done. Because in my world, when a dwarf does an iron vow, it's philosophically there's an argument that happens from very small circles within the dwarves about how it's actually a sign of weakness to take an iron vow, because it's the statement of, I don't know if I can do this, so something from beyond has to help me to make sure that I get this done no matter what. And that's kind of what happens, is if you aren't strong enough, if you would die from what happens, the Iron Vow activates and makes your body into iron and steel, not only making you harder for people to hit in the future, but also keeping you alive, and you will continuously heal like this until such time as you either give in, allowing the Iron Vow to no longer take its effect on you, or until you have completed the Iron Vow, which is very similar in the idea of giving in that you basically have to be told the vow is completed or you have to believe the vow is completed, because that's how you let go of everything. And very rarely will a dwarf quit a vow. The vows are like impossible to quit for a very good reason. And in order to do the Iron Vow, you have to give something up, which is usually your like most precious weapon. The reason it's your most precious weapon is because that's the thing you slam into the ground. Usually, like, you're in the moment and you take your primary weapon, which is, always going to be one of your better weapons, and you slam that into the ground, and then you make the vow, and the earth literally takes the weapon into it, and you cannot pull the weapon out. And everybody can do an Iron Vow, and it has different abilities for every kind of person who would take an Iron Vow, but specifically when a dwarf takes an Iron Vow, it has a very specific cultural connotation and meaning, just because of who the dwarves kind of are as a people. And so that's like the fun thing you can do, just by looking at other people's stuff and being like, that's a great idea, I'm gonna make my version of that. But yeah, absolutely, Starforged, Ironsworn Starforged seems like a good idea, seems like it might be a very fun thing. Having intergalactic space, I would call it heroes, like you've made this vow to do something. Usually, I assume it's a great task, like it's a good thing you're doing, but could be wrong, you never really know. And so it looks like it uses a action die, stat plus adds equals your score versus the challenge dice. So you need to beat both challenge dice to get a strong hit. You need to beat one of them to get a weak hit, and then you miss when you miss both. And since you're using a D6 and they're using a D10, that's probably that's why you've taken up this Iron Vow, is my understanding. Is like you're doing insane tasks most of the time. And there's a reference guide. It says late pledge, so I'm assuming it's part of a Kickstarter. Let's go ahead and check that out. Missed the Kickstarter? Submit the form below and get a notification for when the pledge manager is available for late backers. Very cool. It's always wild how these things are going. If you're interested, go ahead and check it out. I, of course, would give the caveat information of, it's getting to the point, even with good systems that you can trust, that maybe you just don't trust what's going on with Kickstarter or things like that, and so it's almost always better to wait. But that's just me giving a caveat of warning. But truly, if you believe in this, if you like this, go ahead and late pledge, do everything. Ironsworn is cool. I remember when I never played it. When I heard about the Iron Vow and I saw what their rule system was, I was like, yes, I get it. This is very cool. I love it. And then, the only reason I'm bringing it up is because it's attached to tabletop audio. I think it's important to, especially since I grabbed a couple of these songs, it's important to know where they came from, how they're kind of in connection with it. Because we're going to do, Starforged, The Vault, and Sojourn are the two that I've grabbed. So Vault, Sojourn. Vault looks really cool, and Sojourn looks really cool. We'll see what's up with that. Anyway, we're going to work on session prep. So, I've got a game tomorrow. I'm not quite sure what we're doing and what's going on, but I know we're playing D&D and I know I'm DMing. So that's all you really need to do anything in D&D. I'm a very for those of you wondering, my theory on D&D in general is the rule system is something that we've slapped on because like we want to play a game and we want to use certain rules. But honestly, it doesn't really matter what those rules are. What matters is that we're sitting around a table having fun role-playing with each other. And so, as a DM, that lets me do a lot of things in the background. And for this game, there's going to be no exception. So we're going to find out what the random session for today is, and then I'll try to pick it apart into something good. By which I mean not that like the random session that I'm going to get from the roll isn't good, but good as in like I'm getting bits of information and then I'm going to try to flesh it out more. So, location is the endless thunderstorms in the upper atmosphere of an ocean giant. The goal is to attune to the largest Yogg crystal fragment ever found, and the obstacle is a moat of the dead, one vast, twisting river of corpses coiling through low gravity. That's horrifying. Okay, I've got it. Endless thunderstorms in the upper atmosphere of an ocean giant. That's a sci-fi thing. We're playing fantasy, so we're going to change that a bit. We're going to go to the eye of the storm of an endless thunderstorm. That's going to be, not necessarily upper atmosphere, but it has a lot of upper atmosphere weather effects happening. So we're going to have lightning, we're going to have frost, we're going to have snow. It's going to be constant frigid cold mixed with this, like, constant storming effect around. Also, I should save this. Just click save to make sure nothing happens to it. Attuned to the largest Yogg crystal fragment ever found. There's going to be a MacGuffin. It's called a Yogg crystal. It's in the center. I'll figure out what Yogg crystals do later. Probably it's creating the storm, and the plan is to take it to get rid of the storm, because if you can get rid of the storm, that would create a new trade route for the rest of the kingdoms, and you would be, like, rewarded handsomely. Plus, with the crystal, you could then hand that off to anybody you wanted. When it says it's the largest crystal fragment ever found, I'm guessing it's not big. It's called a fragment, so like a fragment I would expect to be like about this big maybe, and it's a big crystal fragment about the size of the fist, but it's not a full crystal. So I could go with just a massive crystal, basically, big enough that you gotta strap it down and get it with your body and stuff like that. But we'll see. Let's see. And the moat of the dead, one vast twisting river of corpses coiling through low gravity. That is super simple to deal with. It's just going to be that all the dead sunken ships. So it's going to be this, like, you have to kind of like make landfall on the ships and then slowly like work your way through different decks and things, because all these ships have been smashed apart and stuff. And at the center is this item. Goblin boss, 5 goblins, 7 wolves, 3 Thri-kreen. Thri-kreen. Interesting. I can choose wolves or Thri-kreen. And then the next one is 5 goblins, and then the last creature is a raven. So now we open up our encounters list. So we're just going to create a new encounters list. Encounters for Saturday, our location. to drop this off will be like in our documents section. I'll be right back. I need to use the restroom. Mute this. And we're back, but I am seeing that something weird has happened with the stream. Let's see. Reload. Just on my end. Looks like it was. Nope, nope, I'm back. Okay, yeah, it was just on my end. So we're back. We've got a whole bunch of items here. It's a lot of goblins. The wolves and Thri-kreen I want to look at. So let's look at wolves and Thri-kreen. Wolves of pack tactics, that's nice. Wolves also have a bite attack. Forest, grassland, and hill creature as well. Desert grassland. I think this is the grassland. Let me take a look at goblins, raven. I'm guessing ravens are in grassland also. I'm betting it rolled the grassland. Yeah. No. That's from hill or swamp or urban. Okay, so this went full random. That's fine. That's perfect. Thri-kreen, of claws and a bite and a multi-attack. I'm gonna go with the Thri-kreen. And the Thri-kreen are not working with the goblins. Um, yeah, so what I'm thinking happens is the party finds the Raven. The Raven, that's the first thing they find, and the Raven is angry and frustrated but wants to leave, and so I'm going to give it the ability to talk. It's a serpentine-bodied Raven, so that's really interesting. You can see a Raven that's like... And I don't have to use that, but I really like the idea of using a lot of these things, because that's why I put them into the chart, is so that, like, it can be a creature, but it's like a unique and weird version of that creature. So, you know, I'm going to be able to describe this, like, black snake-like creature that is like floating around but has like feathers coming off of it and like moves around and says like, what are you people, why are you here, that kind of thing. And it just wants out, so it's gonna say like, you have a way out, let's leave, let's go, we have no reason to stay here. And they're gonna say like, no, we gotta go do the thing, and it's like, why would we do that, what is the point? We can have a nice little fight with the Raven over trying to figure out what to do. I think the 5 goblins will be the next encounter. It's important to do that. Let's see, this thing is beefy, so its PL is going to be equal to the party, which is going to be, that's how much HP and damage they're going to take before they're like, okay, we need to get out of here. And then the last is they say it's cybernetic, and I think I'm going to go with something like that. Let's see, it's Nova. Every 2 rounds he can damage everything. So I'm going to say this is a goblin who was either experimented on as part of the original crew that was taking care of the Yogg crystal, or he's like part of a 2nd or 3rd ship that came to try to figure out what was going on here, and has arrived as his own thing to try to like smash into the Thri-kreen. And the Thri-kreen, I'm thinking it is the original ship got destroyed because the Thri-kreen were sitting there doing their thing, and then they brought forward like energies, and the Yogg crystal protected them, and so they're like guarding it. And so it'll be the Thri-kreen versus the goblins, and then it's 1 goblin boss and 10 goblins, and they're like searching the ship and stuff like that. And I think there's going to be a bit of a rivalry between this goblin boss, which is going to be the cybernetic one, and the squad of 5 goblins, because I'll give one of them, I'm only going to give one of them the mutation, I think, the shape changer, fast healing. Let's see, shape changer, fast healing, blood draining bite. Yeah, I think there's going to be a bit of a fight between the 2 of them. So this will be my, like, vague prep. I don't know what they're, because I tried asking them, like, what kind of game are you interested in, and they were all like, it doesn't matter. And it's like, well, if it doesn't matter, that's not, like, impossible to build for, but you know how it is where it's like, the more details that you have, the better it can be. But, you know, whatever, it doesn't super matter. Like, we have ways of making the game work. We have ways. Stream. Exit out of that one. And just this one. And can I... Let's try it. Yeah, okay. We're swapping over to here now. And we'll still use the monster roller thing a couple times. Oh. No, but we're good. We'll still use the monster roller thing a couple times because I do want to see how the Thri-kreen and goblins are themselves changed. So we're gonna delete to 7 wolves, make it 3 Thri-kreen, and then we're gonna roll on our chart. We have multiple charts. This one's gonna be our monster chart, I think. Like charts, because that's where I just put everything that's like good to go. And on my monster chart, So we're gonna put that for the goblins. And I wish it wasn't like so they switched to this. Nope, nope, nope. That was definitely not the view I was looking for. I'm looking for the view where it's one page. View, vertical, print layout. View, single page, one page. There we go. We'll, there we go. Zoom in a bit. And 3 Thri-kreen. I should really make that encounter. So let me, we're in the moment and we can do it, and I prefer doing it in the moment when it's realized. So we're gonna go to our random session chart and we're gonna make a quick edit from creature 1 to encounter. There we go. And then there's other charts that I'll have to fix later, but right now this is the way to... boom. Good there. And I forgot what the previous page was, because I was in my... running through. So we're gonna roll another encounter for the monsters. And the Thri-kreen have this, which is a apparently the Prime Servants. That's like a 1% chance on my chart. So like, woo, Primal Servants. That's Primal Servants are specifically an idea from Dungeon Crawl Classics, by the way, for those of you who are wondering. I think it's 2 of the following powers. It's Speak with Dead and Restore Life to a creature. Okay, cool, cool, cool. So only one of the, or maybe I'll make it all 3. I'll know in game, which I do, but I'm not too worried about the Thri-kreen at its current state. And then is those things. Encounter 1 is a goblin boss, 5 goblins and 3 Thri-kreen. And encounter 2 is 5 goblins. Encounter 3 is a raven. I'm gonna say that despite the fact that it is weak to sunlight, it's actually craving the sunlight. This raven is deeply like changed by the encounters that it's had on the boat, and it has a belief, I'm gonna say it's a belief, that the sunlight is like a sacred thing. Like I'm gonna go do like a little bit of Solaire vibes with the raven, I think. You know, praise the sun and all that. Not quite full Solaire though. Like he's not gonna be like a normal friendly guy. He's gonna be like a wretched little raven who's like makes you go like, why would you want the sun? And he's like, because it gives us life. It is the heart giver. And I think I might make him go that way, that route. Pretty much is the raven sees the sun as a life giver because he kind of now understands that it, like, you know, powers everything, makes trees and all that stuff. And so a little bit of a like a little bit of an environmentally friendly raven who's like kind of understands but doesn't have like a full connection with the understanding of what's going on. There's another change I can make to the monsters. No. To random session. Instead of is a, just make it is. Encounter 1 is blank. Encounter 2 is blank. I just want to make sure I make those little changes kind of like in the moment. So I'm going to make this raven pretty weird in its appearance. It's going to be able to grasp those javelins that say NPC weaponry. I kind of want to go full... so like white skin is currently... I think it's going to wake up. I think the party is going to wake it up and it's going to like have the javelins and everything like that and kind of scream at the party. I think it's going to be a wretched, kind of like a wretched broken creature. And for that, I'm gonna up his hit points, because normally a raven only has like 1 hit point, so that's gonna get like boosted real hard. And I just like copy this all here. Not really. It's okay. I've got the monster manual. I can just pull up a raven and like have it, or I can print out its stats, whatever works. There. What's important is knowing what it's doing with all this stuff. Like I know it's got about a d6 of damage. I know, and I know like normally it's a tiny creature, but I'm gonna play around with it a bit. This raven is different. It's gonna be like as if the bird was like ripped and changed and forced out through its body. Anyway, encounter 2 is gonna be 5 goblins. One of them is currently mutated by the shape changer. He's a shape changer, has fast healing, and has a blood draining bite. And he wants to grow, so he spends. So like, I'm gonna have him do a lot of like. I think he'll bite and like drain people's blood in, and let's see, his PL is gonna be -1. So I think mostly they're not gonna be very powerful people, but like he's gonna like go for it pretty hard. And then this next one has hydraulics, wants to sleep. He's a goblin boss with orange skin color. Good to know. Is 5. This one says skin color is brown, so brown goblins. Is 1 albino raven, 1 albino serpent raven. Go ahead and change the calculation on this to just PL. Hibernate is 1 orange goblin boss, orange cybernetic, sword, shield, and armor, which glows. I'm just putting all the notes. Goblin boss. I want to check the stats, make sure I know I'm grown up against people. Yeah, this is fine. Say it's 5 goblin swarms. They have two-handed battle axes and swords. And they have unusual red hair. 5 red-haired goblin swarms. That PL was -1, I think. So now it's +0. Oh no, it couldn't be. It would be it's 50% more than normal. So we'll put times 0.5. Or no, times 1.5. That's it. Yeah. Times 1.5. Then I can restore life to the dead. So that means I'm gonna give them a kind of like glowing hand appearance. Because in my world, resurrection is like it's kind of impossible. Like resurrection is essentially like a good plant. If a person dies, they need to have on them what I call a flower of life, which is when you cast the resurrection spell, you get a flower, and then you basically can't use that slot again, but you've got the flower. And so you just walk around with the flower all day, and then it resurrects you. So these creatures, I'm going to say Thri-kreen. I'm gonna say just one has it. Three Thri-kreen with a hand on the pulse of life, made out of the flower of life. Must be placed on dead body. Before they are taken by death. And that's really powerful for my game. Yeah, because in my game you have to have it on you. This one is when you die, death takes you, and that takes time. So they might be able to resuscitate more. Stands its ground, never wavers, is translucent. 3 translucent. These guys are wild looking. 3 translucent Thri-kreen. That have two-handed battle axes and swords. Perfect. And they're corpulent, so they're like big and strange looking. Corpulent. Lucent, corpulent, Thri-kreen. I'm going to say the corpulence is because of the shattering of the crystal. It's because it's a fragment of the Yogg crystal. And so they were protecting... Let's say they were protecting the Yogg crystal itself, and when it shattered, those pieces went all over. And I'm going to say... that's the campaign. So like that, so the session is finding this fragment, and attunement is going to grant something to them, which it's probably going to be powerful, but that's kind of neither here nor there. But that's the session. 40 minutes and I've got the session pretty much. Like I can add more at this point. Like I can do maps and things like that, but no, we're good. We're good. And I think that's gonna be it for today. It's a really I'm just taking this week real light. We'll see. Like I was never planning on the 2 hours being my like exact number of time that I'm doing anything, but I feel a little bad because like I had a ton of 2-hour videos and now I've got these like series of smaller ones, but honestly the smaller ones I'm feeling a bit better about, and we'll see where I'm going. The 2 hours is really, I guess, like that's when I'm hitting my limit, like my full wall. But anyway, we'll find out more about all that later. I hope everyone has a great time out there. I know I've had a great time building this for my friends. I will, on Saturday, like run it through, and I don't think I will tell people how it really went, because I think that's I think that like cringes a bit on the privacy of my friends a bit. But who knows? I might just be like, let's talk about it, and let's not like give too many details. We'll see what happens. We'll see what's up. Anyway, I hope everyone out there has a great one, and I will see you all next time.